Now, my next guest is a young man from Cork who is making his mark on the drifting scene worldwide. He was crowned Formula Drift champion this year in the States, and he is also, wait for it, the current Guinness World Record holder for the longest tandem drift. And he's going to... You OK there, Mary? Now he's going to enlighten us on the world of drifting. But first, let's take a look at him in action.
James Deane gets out and touch and go. Hilbrun right there, transitioning into that rear clipping zone. Looks like Hilbrun comes off of that rear clip a little early. James Deane filling all of them. Absolutely well done. The streets of Long Beach are on fire, and here we go. Hilbrun out front. James Deane on the door of Hilbrun, the BMW. Hilbrun gets all around the touch and go, wall to wall for Hilbrun. James Deane cannot be shaken. Is James Deane going to take it back to the top here on U.S. soil? James Deane in the Warthouse Falcon Tires, Sylvia S15.
James, that looks ferociously dangerous. My heart is pumping. God, how did you get started in all of this?
Oh, it's amazing. This is what I live to do. But basically, drifting started in Ireland back in 2002 as a very grassroots motorsport. And my brother Mike competed in that first ever drift event, and he managed to win it. Yeah. So I was there as a 10-year-old kid watching at the time, supporting from the sidelines. And when I saw the sport, I just immediately fell in love with the sport. And when I was old enough to start competing, which was 15, started competing then. Yeah, I had great family support. So we bought a cheap car and I started competing. That's 11 years ago now. And this year I managed to achieve my lifelong dream, which was to win the Formula Drift.
That's like the Olympics of drifting, isn't the Formula Drift in the US? That's the ultimate goal to achieve in your sport, isn't it?
Yeah, it's the pinnacle of the sport. It's the highest level, you know. There's many different drift championships around the world, and I think everyone wants to get to that point at some point. You know, that's what everyone's aiming for. That's the pinnacle, the highest level. And,
wow. And it looks very technical, because it's not like you're crashing into each other or you're trying to beat each other. It's technical. You have to make sure the car... you must go through some tyres as well.
Yeah, tyres.
This is why he's here. He's going to explain to us what it is, because it's not a race.
Yeah. It's like a dance.
No, so there's judges mark out lines and marks you have to hit, and it's very technical. So explain to us what's going on here now.
Yeah, so basically, when you're in the lead position, I'm in the green and blue car there. That's my Falcon Tires European S14. So when you're in the lead position, the judges lay out clipping points, and they're points on the track which they want you to get as close to as possible. Yeah. You're obviously supposed to go sideways, which is the car is drifting. That's why it's called drifting. Yeah, so they lay out a line. In the lead position, you're supposed to place your car as close to these clipping points as possible. Yeah. And then that's what you're practicing. Oh, then in qualification, you are basically doing... They're scoring you on that line, how fast you're doing it with your speed, how hard you push, so how close you get to the walls, or...
And do you want to pass somebody out? Like, do you,
no,
you don't pass at all?
No, so basically,
you stay in your
after qualification, you're gridded. You're put into like a top 32 knockout tournament. The higher qualifier gets to lead. The lead driver's job is to get all the clipping points and just focus on what the judges ask you to do. And while chasing, you're supposed to treat the lead car as a moving clipping point. So get as close to him as possible. Oh. And over 2 runs, the judges basically compare both runs, and one driver progresses into the top 16, then the top 8, top 4 final, and you have a winner.
So it is technical.
Yeah, it's very like marking a gymnast in technique. That's what they're looking at, your driving technique and how you do it. So it's not just like randomly going around a track. Every single move you make is forensic, really, isn't it?
Yeah, it's unlike... Do you have a time limit? You have a time limit in this?
No, it's unlike any other motorsport because it's judged. So you're not racing against the clock, or it's not the first person past the finish line. It's basically judged on your skill and your technique and exactly what the...
Sounds great. It looks great.
Yeah, it's really exciting, and you know, it's very hard to explain it without, you know, looking into it a bit more. But when you start to look into it more, it's probably...
No, I'd like that because it's technical, because it's not a race.
Yeah, it's exciting. So it's not a race or a rally where, you know, people are spread out over 20 corners or something like that. It's usually in around 3 corners, and there's 20,000 people crammed into that area watching.
Wow. Is it dangerous?
It's not dangerous because safety is a huge thing in the sport. So the cars are very safe. We got roll cages, all the fire equipment, we're strapped in, and if you do have a crash, you're more than likely going to be safe. I've had crashes, but touch wood, not in quite a while.
What does your mammy think of it?
My mum loves it.
Your mommy loves it.
Yeah,
Daddy was a rally driver for 40 years, you see.
Yeah, motorsport's been in the blood. My dad used to build rally cars for a living, and he used to navigate and drive along with my uncle. So
your dad must be so proud watching.
yeah,
this
they all are.
little
My
boy.
whole family. I've got great support from back home, and they've followed me and supported me over the last 11 years, and it's been just an incredible
11
journey.
years, like you're only
still only a baby.
You're only a baby. You're
26.
And how many times have you won the European Championship?
I've been lucky enough to win the European one 5 times.
No, you've been good enough to win it. Yeah, you've been good enough
So
to do
you won
it.
the one that's Formula Drift in the US, which is a huge one. That's this year, and
That-
you hold a Guinness record for.
Longest tandem drift, so basically chasing a lead car for
Yeah.
26 kilometres without any stop or break. So
Doing your little-
non-stop drifting.
no
for
break?
no break.
very
It was
impressed.
like I think
Wow.
35 or 37 minutes non-stop drifting.
Gee.
Talking as someone who can't drive, I think you're like amazing.
Yeah,
I can barely
me
go
too.
stop and go. Don't judge me. Don't judge me, James. But like the technique that goes into something like this, and you're a world champion, but like. You're not getting the recognition that you deserve, I don't think, back home. Because we put this online that you were coming on yesterday, and my God, it boom all over the States. But in Ireland, it isn't that big yet. And like we get so few world champions in
Yeah.
this country.
I know.
Is it in its infancy still here, or is it starting to grow and grow and grow? Do you feel it's getting better all the time, the support?
Yeah, so it's relatively new as a motorsport. So, you know, drifting started about 20 years ago, but in Europe it's only really getting traction in the last 5 or 6 years.
Yeah.
So with each year that goes by, it's getting more popular. And in Ireland, there's a big drift community in Ireland, and I'm very lucky to have a lot of support from Ireland. But it's still a little bit more grassroots.
Yeah.
But there's an Irish Drift Championship. They run events across Ireland,
Yeah.
usually about 5 events a year. And the biggest event would be in Mondello Park, and it brings in
course,
about
yeah.
11,500 people. So it is getting bigger, but mainstream media is, you know, it's getting there, obviously. I'm delighted to be sitting here right now, and I think it's it's a good step in the right direction. And I think over the next few years that it should, you know, it's exciting. When more people get to know about it, it's, in my opinion,
it's like the MMA of motorsport.
yeah,
maybe.
it's a show, so it's exciting. It's easy to watch. When you start to understand it, you know, it gets even more
I
exciting.
keep thinking your car is going to blow up during all of that. Like, it's absolutely terrifying to do. But like, what way does your mind go when you start you sit into the car? Like, do you get a massive adrenaline burst, or are you like, do you turn into a robot, or what way it is? Because the level of concentration must be absolutely spot on for this.
Yeah, well, you saw me before the show. I kind of had the shakes here
Yeah.
before we even started. But
Please tell me I didn't scare you more than that.
no, I'm just surrounded by girls, so it's fine.
I love the way he said girls, and I'm old enough to be his mother.
Get your hands off him, Mary Byrne.
I love him for me little son.
Yeah, so I would be absolutely 10 times worse before leaving the start line. But as soon as you start moving, it all kind of...
How long does the track? How long is the...
So it's usually between 3 or 4 corners.
that's it? Just...
Yeah,
Is that
so
short, like?
Yeah, so
Oh,
it's
okay.
a 30-second run, usually.
Wow, okay.
That's
all
where...
this training into a 30-second performance, basically.
Basically, like a lead run would be 30 seconds long, then you have to swap around and chase the lead driver, so that's another 30 seconds. And in that minute of driving, you actually go through a brand new set of tyres on the rear of the car. So
And how much training do you have to do for a sport like that? Like, are you in the gym? Are you running as well as obviously in the car training? What kind of training do you have to do?
Fitness is a huge thing, I would say.
Really?
Yeah, especially in the United States, because the temperatures are so hot. So like we were in Orlando this year, and it was 37 degrees outside.
wow.
And then inside the car it could be over 60 degrees. So I had to stop practice because I was about to pass out. Like, obviously I'm Irish, so I'm not very used to the heat.
It's over 20 degrees. I'm about to melt. What's going on?
But yeah, a lot of the drivers in the States would be pretty fit. It's definitely something that I need to work on a bit more, but I think my adrenaline keeps me going.
Yeah, you've got as high as you can go now, really. So tell us about because you said you've won the ultimate prize. So is it over one? Is it one particular? What are they called? Races or what sessions or what?
Yeah, so it's a championship. And
So is it over one, or is it over a series and then you become?
Yeah, it's a series. So in Formula Drift is an 8-round championship in the United States.
And it started off where?
In Long Beach.
Long Beach. That's what we showed earlier.
Yeah, then we went to Orlando, Atlanta, Montreal, Canada, Seattle, Texas, and back to Los Angeles again for the finals.
Yeah.
So
And
8-round
it's
championship.
huge there, is it? Absolutely huge.
Yeah.
in the
Yeah,
States.
it is.
Massive.
Like the lowest attendance would probably be 14,000 people, and it would be up to
Wow.
Up to 1 million people watching online.
Wow.
yeah the live streams. It's broadcasted on the internet, and it's huge on the on the internet.
Yeah.
Like it's a huge internet,
Yeah.
sport.
And do you have your own YouTube station then? Do you have your own YouTube?
So I would, social media wise, I'd work on Facebook and Instagram and the likes of that, and we'd be doing a lot of
200,000 people on Facebook or something ridiculous.
yeah. I've been very lucky
we have
to
to go and follow you now.
Yeah.
What are you on Instagram?
at James Deane 130.
Of
Your
course.
Cork accent's coming out now.
Bye. My mother.
So you started off in Long Beach, so basically bang, 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 and were you
Yeah, we
leading the
managed-
whole way through?
I was leading after the first round. Then I got knocked out in top 16 in the second round, so
Yeah.
I was back to second, I think. And then I managed to win the third round, and I managed to lead it the whole way through from there.
Wow.
And
And
it's
they
my
came-
ultimate dream. Like I've been,
They
it's
came
my
up
You were a
for
first.
you,
10-year-old
didn't
boy
they?
watching, this is what you wanted
it's
to do.
my first year competing in Formula Drift, and I got a huge
What?
opportunity.
Your
Yeah,
first year?
It's my
You
first
won
year
it in your first year?
in the States.
Oh my God.
And they came looking for you, didn't they? They came.
So I was approached by a team,
Yeah.
Worthouse Drift Team, which is a company that designs metal roofs, and they wanted to advertise their product through drifting in the United States. And I have a teammate, Peter Więcek, he's from Poland, and he's actually one of my best friends. So it's great to have your teammate as one of your best friends, and one of the guys that helps us. Is from Ireland too.
Yeah.
I went to school with him, and he's been by my side the whole way through. Michael Sheehan. So basically,
Donald.
the few of us, local girl.
Yeah.
The few of us went to the States, and the team
Brilliant.
we were really lucky. Had a huge opportunity with a fantastic team, and the ultimate goal was to get a top 10 finish, but
Then you won it.
it started off amazing, and somehow we managed to keep the momentum going.
Well
and
done.
Brilliant.
So where'd you go
Well
from
done.
here now? What's the next goal for you?
well,
You've kind of you've achieved world domination already, like.
I feel like I've achieved my dream. So
Yeah.
like.
You got to start doing keynote speaking. You'd be an amazing speaker for kids in
Yeah,
schools.
yeah,
You
definitely.
really would. We've only just met you
goal-getter.
today, but you're a real go-getter. And modest too, because you keep
Yeah,
saying
he
we.
is.
Love
Yes.
that. You're all about team.
Thank you very much.
So you're going to defend the title next year?
So yeah, that's the plan.
Oh, very good.
Like, I don't think they're going to want to let it happen again, and I think we caught them,
By
off
surprise.
surprise this year, and it all
Irish
just happened
fella.
so fast. But next year, like
but
my
you were
teammate
good.
actually won the last event.
wow.
And that's really after helping his confidence. So I think he could be my biggest
Your biggest
issue.
competition is your body now.
Yeah,
Oh, that's going to be great.
No, the competition is extremely high there. I believe we got lucky in some ways, and everything just happened, and we managed to win it. But next
you're
year I'm
just
going to go
great.
back
Come on,
and
say it. You did a
try my
great
best
job.
Well
and
done.
see what
So
happens.
when's your next big occasion, big tournament? Or
So
whatever?
right now we're
Tournament, I don't know.
Race.
right now we're,
What's the lingo?
right now we're planning everything for next year. So talking to sponsors and trying to make everything as good as possible. And the season starts back in Long Beach in April. So the cars are actually, after being shipped back to Europe, they should arrive back here in a couple of weeks. Then we're working on those, preparing them for next year. Then they're sent back to the States again.
But what an opportunity for some Irish company over here to get involved and put their name out over in the States.
That's
You know,
definitely
That's
true.
more
yeah.
about it now.
Yeah, get in there.
There's an Irish company that wants their brand.
Come on, get in here. You couldn't be
Up
better.
there for thinking. So listen, James, thank you so much for coming on the show. It's been an absolute pleasure and continued success, because I'm telling you, everybody in Cork and in Ireland are dead proud of you.
Yeah.
Because I know your family, and because I was in school with your sister Jennifer, she's like, my brother's after winning this medal, and I said, tell me about it. So it's absolutely brilliant, because I don't think we back our own sports people enough in this country,
Yeah.
because unless it's like football or rugby, we're forgotten about. So listen, when you come back next year after winning it again, and you won't be calling it a fluke this time or a luck, I'm sure you're going to go on bigger and better things. Yes, I'm just so chuffed now.
Yeah.
Fantastic Cork people. Listen,
Next time you're back in Cork, you'll have to let us know.
Oh, I'll meet you in the pub in Donegal. Now, time for a quick break, but when we come back, would you ever consider giving up dating? Well, one star is certainly taking that approach. Find out why in 3.